Well, welcome to this week's channeling. I'm Katherine Flynn, and I channel the Druid consciousness. And each week, I answer questions that come forth from either my followers or email subscribers. So if you have a question that's popping up or something you want to know, definitely make sure you follow me and subscribe so that you can submit those questions over. So this week's question comes from Kevin. And Kevin said, I've been told that there are higher frequencies out there than abundance that a person can embody. Can you give me a couple examples of those frequencies? So I think this is a very pertinent question right now as there's so much energy coming in and flowing. So give me a moment to allow for the Druids to come in and we will see what they have to say on this topic. Well, yes, the frequencies can be vast and can be very varied based on what energy each person is in. And you can also look at frequencies, as your question shows, as what are the other energies that are out there. And there's different levels of those energies. So yes, with the example used of abundance, yes, there is the energy of abundance that people can live within and be within. But there is also the many other energies, such as you can live in the frequency of love, you can live in the frequency of fear, you can live in the frequency of prosperity or groundedness or oneness. So you can take on almost any type of energy and look at how do you embody it. Now, Earth is a place of duality. It is a place where there are many things and there are many opposites of what you can see. And that is because through opposition and duality, you can see the difference. You can see one side and another. It allows you to see a perspective of where you want to be. For example, do you want to live in peace or do you want to live in fear? Do you want to live in sadness or do you want to live in happiness? Do you want to live in abundance or do you want to live in lack? These are all opposites of each other and show the duality that Earth can provide. And so it is about understanding that each of these are all on, we will say, an energetic wave or a frequency wave. And they're each side of the coin, each side of the balance. And so it's about which one do you want to lean into to really have that sense of where you want to be. And there are times where people will swing from one side to the other side, that you will feel very much in that lacking mode. You might feel very lacking because perhaps you lost your job or you had a big expense come in. But then on the flip coin, another week later, a month later, you might feel more abundant. You might feel that, but it's where is that energy line for you? Where is your point of center? Is it farther in the lack? Is it farther in the abundance? And where does that fall with on that plane? And so it is about ensuring that you embody that energy, that you really lean into that, embody that, because every human says they want to be abundant. And it is true that there is enough abundance for everyone out there. There is enough for everyone to really embrace it and be a part of it. But what it comes down to for each individual is how do you truly embody it, or are there things that make you feel like you can't live in that abundance? Because the universe always provides the energy that you are on. So when you talk of frequencies, if you are on a frequency, that's what you will get. The same way, if you tune into a certain, we will use a radio station, you turn into that frequency. You can be there and you can have it be very clear, and then you get farther away from it and it gets staticky. And then as you get even farther away, perhaps another station is using that frequency, so it comes back in and you're like, oh, it's back. But it is different than what it was before, but it's on that same frequency. And so this is how the universe works, is that when you put out energy, that is what you receive back. So if you're putting out lack and you're feeling very lacking, you're going to receive things back that keep you within that energy of lack. Now, this is not to say that someone could not become extremely abundant. Say you win the lottery, or you receive a huge inheritance, or you get a loan, or something of that effect. Those can all happen and those will all be. But you will find that if the person's mindset and energy is still in that lack, even though they feel very abundant at that time, what happens to most people? they fall back into lack, or they still live within that thought of lack. I don't have enough. There will never be enough. And so it creates this energy of I need more, 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 and more. And for some people, they end up losing all of what they had received and they're back to where they were before. But for others, they have it, but it is almost like pushed away. It is almost saved to say, well, I need to save that, but they still live in that sense of lack. And so that is where it comes in. And it is not just about the actions you take. We want to be very clear on this. It is not the actions you take. It's not saying, well, go and spend all of this money and then you will show abundance. It's about what energy you embody. How do you think? What are the thoughts that are going through? Do you think, well, I may not have something enough tomorrow, so I'm just going to leave it in the bank? You're saying, I don't have enough. Or are you saying, well, I'm just going to spend it because I don't care. I will, I want something else. I need more, more, more. When you need more, 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 you're in lack. And so this is what people have, is when they spend lots of money, then they have that lack. But it is looking to see what is it and how can I live within that abundance. And abundance is not just about money. Abundance is about all things in life. You can have an abundance of friends. You can have an abundance of energy. You can have an abundance of love. You can have all different types of abundance. And it's about encompassing all of those. It's not just saying a financial abundance. If you're going to live in abundance, you need to live within all of them. And so this is the same when you say, okay, I'm going to live in an energy of happiness. Well, you need to embody happiness, that energy, that feeling, allowing for that to flow over you. And yes, there will be ups and downs at times, but overall, you truly feel happy at your core. And this is where people will say, well, I'm happy, but there are things that happen that pull me out of that. And that is true. That is the up and down. That is the flow of life. But can you truly say, even when something difficult happens to you, you can say, yes, I recognize this as something that is hard, but at the core, I am happy with my life. I am happy where I'm at. And that is what can be very difficult, is because when you have to think about that, of where do you lie? What is the overarching energy that you would put to your life? And how does that look? And these are all things that each individual can change. You can change these to say, I'm not going to live in sadness. I'm going to live in happiness. So every time you have a thought of, oh, it's such a gloomy day, you go, no, it's a beautiful day that I am a part of. It doesn't have to be about the weather. It can just be that you are looking forward to what is coming. Or you decide you're going to do something very fun that day to try to get away from that sadness. But it's about understanding that there are these differences. And yes, there are things you'll need to shift and change. There are things that you will need to reset. You will need to change the way you think, because your thoughts are your strongest pull of energetic energy. And as you pull those, and as you can bring forth and shift that, that becomes what is ingrained within you. It is what is within your soul and within your heart and your core that makes you who you are. And so you have to look at the energy that is there. Do you live in an energy of jealousy? Or do you live in an energy of oneness where you're happy when someone has a success around you and you are excited for them and you're building them up and you're supporting them? Or are you saying, well, I should have gotten that. Why don't I have that? Well, that is an energy of jealousy and lack. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. What are you going to do with your new career you're moving into? Or what are you going to do with your new home that you have? What kind of energy do you want? How do you want to decorate it? All of those things are projections of what you want. And so as you live within these energetic wavelengths, because each being each human is connected to the energetic grid. In the energetic grid that is all upon the earth's surface, it's in the celestials, all around us. In the same way you get on one line, The same way you can look at telephone poles and electrical poles. They go down certain lines, they follow the roads typically. And as they follow those, you can veer off. And the same thing is for each individual, each human on the energetic grid. Except you don't have to wait for the next crossing. You can jump over to it because they're so tight knit and we're connected to all of them. You just may go, I'm on the lack line. You know what? I need to shift more to abundance. I'm going to try to jump over here. And you might notice you get pushed back off or you jump back off, but then you come back again. And so it's about really embracing that and seeing that. But it all truly comes with changing your perspective on things. It's looking at and questioning why you are saying something, why you are thinking or believing something. Is that belief truly within you? And if it most are, but where does it come from? And is it truly who you are? Is it what you truly believe in? And if the case is yes, then that makes part of who you are. But where does that stem from? Or is it something where you say, no, that isn't a belief. That's a belief I was given when I was a child. I was told that anyone who goes to college will automatically be able to soar and go beyond life. And you go, but I know many other people who didn't go to college who are doing really great things and wonderful things. And so this is about where you have to say, what is it that I need to do? Where do I need to be? And what is my belief? Your belief may be that anyone can do whatever they put their heart, soul, and energy into. And you see someone working very hard and they're thinking beyond and they're talking to people and networking. And that's very positive. And that is something where you're going, wow, look at what they're doing. And they're growing and they're evolving and they're changing. You may go, I'm so impressed by what they're doing. That can be something that maybe might shift a belief. Or you may shift another belief that comes through. But you have to look at what is the root of that belief. And is there anything associated with opinion and judgment? Are you putting your opinions on someone else because of your beliefs? Or are you judging someone because of your beliefs? Because every single individual being has different beliefs, opinions, and judgments. And so it is about looking at ourselves, not to judge ourselves or not to place an opinion on ourselves, but it's to understand that we walk as a being each individual spot, that we have different experiences, different timing, different karma, different past lives that have created the individual human that each and every one of you are. And so as you're living in that, it is about saying that you do not have the ability to judge someone else because you have not walked in their shoes. You don't understand where they are. It is about saying, I may not agree with them. I may not understand them. I may not want to be a part of that. But it is saying that you yourself can only control what you yourself has done. And so within all of this, when you can look at yourself and say, I am in control of me and what I do and how I project, and I want to project with love and kindness and support and be a beacon to people, be a beacon of light to people that come across to me and that interact with me. And so when you can see that and you can embody that, that is when you can truly allow for others, and they will see you, but they will do what they perceive that they need to do. And so it is about not placing judgment, but saying, this is what I want to show the world. I want to show them positivity and love and kindness. And so that is where you get onto these different energy and different frequencies that come through. Some are very different because it is what you emulate is what will be shown back to you. And you can see that with the people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people that maybe are in fear or in lack or are more negative in their thinking and nature and very sad and nothing's ever good enough, when you surround yourself around those people, you start to absorb that energy and you kind of get sucked in. And so, because that is the frequency and the energy that you're on. And so instead, it's about stepping back from that. And maybe you say, well, I do need to be around these people for a certain reason and for a certain timing that's coming on. But I really want to embody and embrace a different way of thinking about this. So perhaps I work with them, but I'm not going to maybe associate as much outside of work. Or I will only go, meet them for lunch once a week. And the other days they'll say, no, I brought a lunch. I'm going to stay here. It is about each of you deciding how you want to surround, because when you surround yourself with people that are positive and uplifting and kind and upbeat, you will notice that that will become more of your energy. So that is where you are just shifting that frequency from one level to another and allowing for that. And so for each and every person who is deciding to watch this and listen to us and to embrace this knowledge that we're giving, it is about each and every one of you deciding, where do you want to be? And there is no right or wrong answer. There is no perfect way to be. It is about looking inside and deciding, what is it that I truly want to project, to emulate, to allow to come through. And when you can do that, and when you can embrace that, that is when you will know for sure that you are exactly where you need to be and what it is. And don't let someone else tell you you're wrong. You should be different. You should be done. If you are looking at life in the way that you need to, that is what is important. That is where you need to be. And it's not to say it won't shift. It's not to say it won't change. And it may. And it really, in a way, always does shift, because as you continue to move through the life and on your path, of course you're going to grow. You're going to learn more. You're going to have more experiences. You're going to continue to ascend and to move into different dimensions and frequencies. And this is because this is what life does. It allows you to grow up and to evolve. Because if each and every single one of you were still thinking the way you did when you were 3 years old, it would be a very different place. You would be a very different person. But because, as a 3-year-old, you grew and you learned how to do things that are necessary to Earth, but you also learned about what you need to do to make a decision, and you learned of how to stand strong in what you believe, and you learned all of these different things and had these experiences. It made you who you are. And the person you are today is not going to be the person you are tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. And you may look back and say, I don't even recognize that person anymore. That is how long it has been. Or you may be surprised at how far you've come. Or you may say, well, that's who I am. That's where I am. And that's okay. But for those of you that are on this path, that are open to this information, we believe all of you will continue to evolve and will shift. And that is what is so grand and so great. For life is here to allow for each and every being on it to continue their evolution as a soul, to allow for you to embrace more, to learn more, to experience, to hold connections with other souls, but also know that you are all one, that when you get back into source, that you are all the same energy that was there prior. And so as this is coming in, and as you are shifting into this space, the more that you can look at what energy you live in, what frequency you embody, where do you want to be instead, and what are your beliefs or judgments that perhaps are holding you back or shifting you, that is when you will be able to truly shift where you are. So have some discernment. Just question yourself from time to time. And your soul will begin to give you a nudge, maybe if you're not on the path that you need to be on for your life, where no one else can tell you what to do and how to do it, but you'll know if you need to make a shift. And when you do that, and when you allow for that, that is when you will truly come in to have a sense of knowingness of who you are, what you are, and where you're going. And so we will leave you with all of this. is that there is so much more out there in terms of energy, in terms of frequency, and in terms of where you are at. Because each of the dimensions each of you live in, whether you stay in the third, you move up to the fifth, you are in the fourth, or all around, it doesn't matter. You are where you are at. You're at where you need to be. But if you want to shift, continue to look at where you want to go and how you can evolve to get there. There is so much support for you. There is so much alignment there for you that we know each and every one of you will truly lean into this, will find peace, as we will all be here to assist on this path of life. As each of us live within this life, we have to look at where are we and where do we want to go. And the Druids brought up a very important point today about really embracing the ability of life, the shifting and the evolution of it. So look at what energy you live in. What frequency do you possess? Where are you at? Do you need to raise it up? Do you need to slightly lower it? Where do you want to be on that path? That will really allow for you to really embrace this sense of this alignment to life, this piece of life, this energy that really makes you feel like you're on your path and you're really moving where you want to go. So I want to thank Kevin for his question today. And as a reminder, if you have a question, definitely send it over, let me know. And so that this video can get out to more like-minded people to help the algorithm, if you wouldn't mind liking it below. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so as well, for others to get notice of the channeling that we do here. So I want to thank everyone for listening and being a part of this community. It really makes my heart warm to see the growth that we've had and how many people just sharing it with someone else. These messages are getting out there because life is meant to be good. Yes, it can be hard. Yes, there are challenges. But if you're sitting in the energy and able to really look at these things and transform and shift and evolve, you will live that aligned whole life that you want to, that will really align with you and make you feel good.